Hi there. Welcome back. You've reached One on One, and I am Tim. I hope everything has been smashing for you. It's been a while, but I am back. How's your spring been? Hope it's been pretty uneventful. And if it has been eventful, hopefully it's been a positive eventful. I myself have just returned from vacation. Went to Alaska for the first time ever, and I got to say it was pretty enjoyable. I know when you think Alaska, so when you think Alaska, you kind of see pictures and movies and everything, but until you're actually in Alaska, those pictures and movies really do not give it justice. It was beautiful. We did an Alaskan cruise, did the Juneau, got off at that port. That was pretty cool. You definitely feel like you're kind of in the middle of nowhere, a little town kind of situated in the middle of nowhere, which is pretty cool. And then we did a couple more stops, and then we stopped in Canada and did some Canadian, I guess, ground tour. But I got to say, though, the Alaska, the Juneau port was pretty sweet. We went to the Mendenhall State Park. I have some video of that, and I will be putting it on the YouTube channel. So if you're interested to check that out, it's YouTube at Arnold or Stallone. And yeah, let's get that plug for the YouTube channel out of the way. Get it out of the way soon. So we did the Royal Canadian Cruise Line. It's our second cruise. We did a Caribbean cruise a couple years ago on the Carnival Cruise Line. I will say there's definitely a distinct difference between the two of them. The thing I liked about the Royal Caribbean was the shortage, or not as many, I guess, family with little kids, which the Carnival is definitely the family cruise line where the kids can run around and water parks and kid-filled adventures and all that stuff. Or this one was a little more kind of the family with the older kids, teenagers, and so there wasn't as many little kids to kind of watch run around and fall down and laugh at and stuff like that. So, but no, it wasn't bad. Like I say, when we did the Carnival, we were kind of like, well, this is fun and all, but I don't know if I do another cruise. The problem with me and cruises is it's got to be the right length of time. Where if you go on one that's really long, like because we did a 7-day the first time, and it was just kind of like, for me, it felt 5 days, not 5 days, but it felt 2 days too long. I think five days would have been adequate enough, and because you kind of get bored. I don't know, I got bored a couple days on the cruise. It's just like, yeah, the cruise ship is cool and all and big and everything, but eventually you just kind of run out of things to do, especially if you don't, want to go down the water slide or do the little kid stuff or what have you. But and so we did the Carnival for the summertime, so it was nice out at least. And then the Canadian on the Royal Caribbean, and again, I wasn't expecting to go up to Canada and have to run around in shorts and a t-shirt because we're up in Alaska, for God's sake. So, but we did luck out. The weather was very nice when we left. A couple that we had rode to the terminal with were, oh, you guys ever been to Alaska? And we're like, no. And they were like, oh, this is our second time or third time. And, I hope you brought your raincoat because it's Alaska. So it's kind of, spring. So it's supposed to rain. And, we got all that. And fortunately, we lucked out. The weather was very cooperative with us. So it really wasn't horrible weather. I mean, granted, at night, it was kind of choppy and rainy and everything. And so but the ports, when we got off at the ports, were sunny and pretty tolerable. So it was pretty cool. I will say, I mean, not that I'm a seasoned cruiser or anything, but this cruise, you definitely felt the ship moving. It was rocking, and it was pretty interesting. Like I say, the contrast between going to the Caribbean and then going to Alaska is when we were going to the Caribbean, I didn't even feel the ship moving. Unless you were looking out the window, you really couldn't tell you were going anywhere. But on this one, it was moving pretty good. For me personally, I had no issue with it because it kind of flashed me back to being in my 20s and stumbling around. I kind of felt like I was walking home intoxicated, like I had done several times as a 20-something, 30-something, and even a early 40-something. So that wasn't too bad. So I guess really, in hindsight, looking back, All those years of drinking heavily and stumbling home definitely helped my ability to walk stumbly on a cruise ship sober. So that was pretty nice. And then when we got back on land, it was kind of funny. It took me a couple hours to get used to getting my land legs back again, because we were on our way home and decided to stop at a restaurant and have lunch. And we're walking around, and I was just kind of like, whoa, it feels like, I'm still moving, but it was just in my brain. But no, it was fun. So like I say, if you definitely want to take an Alaskan cruise, I highly recommend it. Like I say, it's gorgeous. I don't know what else to say. You just, whatever you see pictures or movies, they're nice, but like I say, it does not do justice to the actual full scope that is Alaska. So, but yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing. That's why I've been off or away for the last couple of weeks. I'm going to try to get back into the swing of things and try to keep these a little more regular, so there's not a couple week gaps in between podcasts. I'm going to actually, like I said, yeah, we'll just try to stick with the weekly schedule moving forward. So, you're not like, oh God, I haven't heard anything from Tim this week. But make sure everything's fine. And yep, they're fine, and I'm back. And again, I hope you have a enjoyable spring as we go full head first into summer, which is right around the corner. I guess I didn't realize or pay attention, it might be a better word, that we are very close to the end of the latest school year. I didn't even feel like it was that time, but driving around and see all the congratulation graduate signs and everything in people's yards and stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess we are close to another batch of kids entering the real world, or as I like to say, the easiest part of their life is now over. So welcome to the workforce and good luck. But no, so if there are any graduates out there, like I say, congratulations, and hey, don't be too harsh on the job market, because you got to start somewhere. Hey, as long as it brings in money. But I guess these kids nowadays don't really have to worry about that, because they get the parental assistance or what have you. I don't know. But hey, if the parents are willing to pay, hey, go, more power to you. Yeah, someone's jumping around. So yeah, I apologize for that background static. I got a little action here with one of the cats are running around. So if you hear weird bonks or clonks or what have you, it's just one of the cats being all cat-like. So what else is going on? I think since the last time I saw you, I wanted to take a time or a few moments here to talk about a passing of someone from the 80s. Again, if you listen or hear about me, I grew up in the 80s and am very fond of 80s movies, and we lost I wouldn't say icon, but definitely someone, if you ever are familiar with 80s movies, or even TV shows. He had passed away on the 12th of May. And so we're about, 3-4 weeks after his passing, but I wanted to take a few moments and talk about Donald Gibb, who passed away, like I say, May 12th. If you don't know who that is, he was Ogre in the Revenge of the Nerds movie. Yeah, easy for me to say, but Revenge of the Nerds, he was Ogre. Definitely a main face of that movie. You can't really think of Revenge of the Nerds without thinking of Ogre. He was also in Bloodsport, probably one of the best Van Damme movies. If you've never seen Bloodsport, definitely check out Bloodsport, because he was pretty straight in that one. He did have a little role in the Conan the Barbarians. He was also in Meatballs Part 2, which, I don't think I ever saw Meatballs Part 2. I don't even think I saw Meatballs. So he popped up in quite a few TV shows as well, which was, when you think of the 80s, there was kind of a TV show circuit where there was saw the same guest stars pop up on different seasons of all these shows. The one that I remember the most was he was in Cheers, when I I believe Rebecca was hiring a bodyguard, and he comes in with his leather, and he, if you know what he looks like, you can picture him with that one kind of cross-eyed, and just very tall and very menacing looking. But he played it well, where he's brought in as the bar bouncer, and of course Norm and Cliff are just like taken aback by his presence, and they assume he's just some big meathead, but of course he breaks down, and he actually has a very good butt verbiage where he's, I may be big and strong, but I have feelings and all this. And so that was pretty cool. He did an episode of Night Court, and I forget which one that is. I'm not really up on my Night Court trivia as I used to be, which Night Court I liked, but I can't. It's one of those where I remember watching it when it first ran. I think I maybe even seen a couple reruns here and there, but as time goes by, it's definitely like, whatever. The majority of the show was just kind of, it was okay. But I mean, honestly, if it didn't have John Larroquette as Dan Fielding, then I probably would have never watched that show again. But like I said, it's been many years. It popped up in rerun somewhere, and I was like, ooh, Night Court, and watched a couple episodes. And it was a nice little flashback, but after a while, I was kind of like, whatever. So I've never binged the entire series of Night Court. Not to mention it got kind of weird towards the end there. And I do remember watching the last episode, and everybody makes a big stink about series finales, how they're not really as great as, trying to wrap up the series. And Night Court definitely fits into that category of like, what the hell? It's kind of weird. If memory serves, I think Bull got abducted with aliens, or he went up with aliens, or there was aliens, or something along those lines. So, but anyway, I'm not here talking about Night Court. I'm talking about Donald Gibb. Just the list of what he's guest starred on. He looks like he was one of the face painters in the Seinfeld episode when they do the spell out devils in the end. I didn't even notice that. But so yeah, he was, like I say, when you think of 80s movies, he definitely was kind of not really the face, but he was a face that you would, if you know who he is, or you're like, Ogre, just look up Ogre, Revenge of the Nerds, and he will pop up. And if you've never seen him, then be like, oh, okay. But then if you have, that guy. So apparently he had passed away from complications of throat cancer, which that's really sad. But he was 71, so I guess that is kind of the average life expectancy. If I can make 70s, I'll be sitting pretty. I won't complain. Heck, I'm not too far away. I'm closer to being 70 than I'm not. So if that makes any sense. So not that fear not, dear listener, that your old buddy Tim here is not trying to sneak something under the rug. I'm not trying to give you some double entendre of me slowly dying. But speaking of, wow, we really took a weird little turn here, but that was completely unintentional, because I am excited to announce, actually, that I have my first sponsor here. Yeah. Can you believe it? This little pony show has actually picked up a sponsor. And so, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and run that ad, and hopefully it kind of decides. I don't want to spoil the ad, but we'll run the ad, and then after the ad, we'll talk about a little bit. So I'm pretty excited to announce my first sponsor of the One-on-One podcast with Tim. So without further ado, Kowalski's Family Brand Embalming Fluid. Listen, we know you have a wide variety of choices for your embalming fluid. So when it comes time to make that choice, think Kowalski's Family Brand Embalming Fluid. At Kowalski's, we believe in using a high quality of ingredients to ensure your embalming is neat and sanitary. Our secret blend of formaldehyde and ethanol will ensure you look your best on your final display. So when it comes time to choose Kowalski's Family Brand Embalming Fluid and look your best. All right, so I want to express my appreciation and thanks to the good folks at the Kowalski's Family Brand Embalming Fluid Company. They decided to take a little chance on this little, like I say, one horse town. I don't know. I had something better to go along with that, but it kind of didn't really it didn't develop from my brain to my mouth, so that sounded kind of stupid. But yes, so yes, we are now officially sponsored. Woo! So when that time comes where you need to make that decision on your final embalming, please choose Klavlowski's family brand embalming fluid. So yeah, without for so some of you are probably like, that was the dumbest thing, but you know what? That's where we're going here. We're going dumb. We're going funny. I thought it was great. I mean, not to mention who else would be who would be more appropriate to sponsor someone like me than something like that. But yeah, so that's just a little bit of comedy we try to bring along here with you to make it a little less or a little more tolerable to listen. So, but yeah, so hopefully that was like, what the fuck? Okay, so yeah, we're gonna steer this ship right. We're gonna get this right back on the road, steer this ship back to the road, for lack of a better term. I wanted to share something I saw the other day. This might turn into a rant. I originally didn't want it to be a rant. It's just something I saw that was funny, but then at the same time kind of made me sad. So I was at work. As many of you know, I deliver groceries to local grocery stores, and I run into a lot of interesting people. I see a lot of, like I say, just store workers. I see out of, what are they, like store vendors. This one I saw was one of the soda pop vendors, which if you don't know what those are the guys that go around and they stock the major soda brands and build the displays and all that stuff. And so this is probably about a week ago, as recording this. I was doing a delivery, and there was one of the kids, I'm going to use that word because he was a kid. I don't know, 20 something, couldn't have been more than 22, finishing up his duties. I guess he was just finishing up his duties and kind of cleaning up after himself, and he was getting ready to call it a day because it was, like I said, it was about 5 o'clock in the evening, and generally they kind of wrap up about that time. But so he was had a couple pallets, which, again, their sodas come in on pallets, and so he had emptied like three pallets and was going to take them outside where a lot of the stores store all their empty vendor pallets and everything. So whenever they get their next delivery, then whatever, they go out there and get them. We'll just go that fast or that route. So he was finishing up, had 3 pallets, and the store manager comes in and made sure, you're going to take those outside, because a lot of these kids, granted they are kids, they're just dumb as shit, and they feel like, I got it cleared, so I'm not going to clean up after myself. And so the store manager comes back and just politely asks him, so you're going to make sure and take all your empties and put them outside? And the kid's like, yeah, no problem. And so I'm watching him, and he's getting ready to go out, and they have those double doors where you open up one, and then you have those second doors latched, and you unlatch it, and you open up both doors, and they swing open, and you can take your stuff in and out at your own leisure. So I'm watching this kid, and he opens up one door, and I didn't think nothing of it, and I continue with my delivery, and then happen to look up and see him fiddling with the second door. He either has never come across a second door, which, if you know the second door, it's got a little latch on the inside seam of the door that you unlatch, and it releases the door, and it opens up freely. And this, I guess, was foreign to him. And I'm watching him, and this is when I kind of noticed something was a little off, because I'm watching him look at the door. He's trying to push the door won't open, and I can just see the wheels in his head kind of spinning a little bit, like, okay, now what do I need to do? And so he sees kind of like the latch or the bolt holding the door, but doesn't realize there's a latch that you could just release, flip that thing down, and the bolt will come down and the door will open. So he sees the bolt in the top of the door, and he grabs an implement, just some big implement, and trying to get it up there to release the latch, and he's just it's just not cooperating. It's not working for him. And so he tries that a couple more times and then gives up and stands back and literally scratching his head like, okay, now what do I need to do? And this is where I kind of thought to myself, it's like, well, should I go over there and kind of show him, this is what you need to do? But then I realized, what? This is kind of something that you need to figure out yourself. I And it made me think that a lot of these younger kids, they don't have the experiences to, I guess, realize, hey, there's a double door, or, to kind of go off topic a little bit. Like, I've watched kids trying to figure out how to use a pallet jack. Anyone who's ever worked in a warehouse knows what a pallet jack is. And you see some pretty interesting ways these kids navigate this pallet jack. And I kind of decided right then and there, it's like, you know what? Sorry, no, I'm going to just kind of let this play out on its own and see what happens. And he, again, was examining the door, trying to figure out a way how to open it, and just gave up. And instead of taking out his pallets as a stack, he ends up taking them out one at a time, picks them up and carries them out there. And I was like, well, at least he did the job. I'll give him kudos for that. And got his pallets out there. And then that's when I was kind of like, okay, maybe I will help him out after he's got it all said and done. That's what I like to do. I like to let them do what they needed to do. And then I'll go and be like, oh, hey, this is what you need to do. And sure enough, as he's coming in from bringing out his third pallet, I go over there and politely say, hey, there's a latch right there. You just flip that down. And I open the door, and the door opens, and he looked at me and he looked at that. And he's like, yeah, that would have been nice about 2 minutes ago. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I watched, but you figured it out. So bravo, chalk that up in your memory bank, because when you run across it again, you'll know how to properly open up the door. So, hey, you can't say I didn't at least try. I did help him. Eventually, I wasn't going to go over there, and I want to see how these people react to situations when they're presented with something that is supposed to, like, logic is supposed to help them out, or whatever, I don't know. But I want to see what they're going to do before I go over there and just be like, oh, this is what you need to do. I want to see if they're going to make it harder on themselves, or maybe something may click and they could be like, oh, this is what I need to do. And again, it's not like these doors, when you go to a lot of these grocery stores, they've been abused. They've been hit by stuff. They're pretty scratched up. They're pretty scuffed. This one was pretty banged up. And the latch really, I want to say you could see it if you were looking for it, but that's the key. You have to look for it. But I was talking to someone about this, and we were having a good chuckle about it, and it made me think again, because I'm always just kind of thinking that this kid made it this far in life, this far at that job, and never had the opportunity to figure out or see, or even, like I say, for someone to show him how to open this. But so I thought that was pretty funny. Just kids that just, hey, bravo to him. He's doing a manual job or manual labor job, and now he knows how to open a pair of double doors. So, but I don't know. What do you think? Send me an email, Arnold or Stallone at Arnold or Stallone at gmail.com. And let me know, was I being a dick for not just going over there and originally showing him how to open the door? Or what would you have done in that situation where you see some 20-year-old kid that doesn't know how to operate a pallet jack? And I'm not even talking about an electric pallet jack. I'm talking about a manual pallet jack. Just, I don't know. Or even some other things you've seen in the job field where these younger kids are kind of clueless as far as how to operate something safely or normally, or I don't know, or what have you. But yeah, so Arnold or Stallone at gmail.com. Send me an email and let me know what you would do or say or think. But so anyway, I think that's all I got for today. Let me check my notes here. I'm trying to make this a little more produced for you, so I kind of have a way to go. And like if I get derailed on the thought process, I can glance at my notes real quick and get right back on track instead of just here we go. Yeah. See, like that, just humming and hoeing and trying to figure out some dead air space to think of something to fill in the blanks. But yeah, so we're back. I'm back. Arnold or Stallone podcast is coming back. I'm excited to say next week. I am doing my best. I should have it all wrapped up, ready to go. We're going to do another solo Stallone episode. I know last solo Stallone was the movie Oscar. This one coming up next week, and I'm going to try to get this out next week. It's going to be Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. And then after that one, I'm going to go right back into the Arnold or Stallone discussion. I don't have my notes in front of me just as far as what is after that one, but just be assured that next week will be Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. I'm going to save any other opinion I have on that for next week's episode because I don't want to muddy the water, so to speak. But so if you've been curious, I'm definitely coming back with that next week. So mark it on your calendar. Next week, Arnold or Stallone podcast. Solo Stallone, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. So, but again, like I say, that's pretty much all I got for this week. Nothing real exciting going on. Hope everything is going well for you. And I will talk to you next time.